Counties across Colorado are taking action to prevent the spread of coronavirus. And Governor Polis is warning if we all don't do our part, Colorado could exceed its hospital capacity. He invited coronavirus survivors to share their stories during a news conference, and that includes Barbara Gould, a Boulder woman who was hospitalized for 3 months.
Due to COVID, I was in the hospital for 91 days. I was on a ventilator for 65 days, and ECMO, which is a lung bypass machine. It's really quite more than that, but you'll have to look that up. I was on ECMO for 15 days of those 65 days. On March 15th, we returned home from a trip on a flight from Atlanta to Denver. The man sitting behind us was coughing for the entire flight. There were no protocols in place at that time. When we got home, my husband became ill with COVID a few days after we were home. No cough, fever, chills, digestive issues, indescribable fatigue as well. I developed a cough, which is something that often happens after I travel. But we were in touch with our medical personnel at our professionals at Boulder Internal Medicine every day. And my cough got worse. On April 7th, I felt a pressure in my chest that I knew was not right. And I called my doctor and I was admitted to Boulder Community Hospital. After 3 days, it became clear that I wasn't improving and I had to be intubated. I was on the vent there for 15 days. And ultimately, I wasn't improving. My lungs were like concrete, and Boulder Community reached out to UC Health because they felt my last chance would be an ECMO machine. I actually didn't meet all the criteria to be on an ECMO machine, but UC Health accepted me. I'm very grateful for that. Let's see. It was clear by then that I was dying and that the ECMO was the Hail Mary, the Hail Mary, whatever you call it. And I had to be airlifted because it was so urgent to UC Health. I remained on ECMO for 15 days. And at one point, it looked like even that was not helping. And my husband had to have my living will in front of him at all times. And at one point, the doctors did call and say, it's not looking good, and we'll give it another couple of days, but this might be it. So at the time, my Congregation Har Hashem in Boulder, was supporting my family. My husband, my adult kids never went hungry. They were praying. People were praying all over the place, which I also appreciate very much. I showed signs of getting better, and that was great. Let's see. You were talking about capacity before. I was lucky at the time that UC Health had the capacity to accept me. On June 2nd, I was able to, I did go to UC Health, I believe on April 25th. On June 2nd, I was able to leave, finally, still on the vent, and I went to Kindred Aurora to be weaned off the vent and to regain some strength. At that time, I had post-ICU delirium. I couldn't lift my head. My eyes were weak. My muscles were atrophied, and I had to relearn how to swallow. My voice was gone. Kindred weaned me off the vent very lovingly, very professionally. And finally, I was able to get off the vent after 65 days. I needed then and still need now supplemental oxygen. Once I could walk a few steps with a walker, I was able to go to the UC Health rehab facility in Broomfield. On June 29th, I left Kindred to go to rehab. I left there being able to walk for several minutes, still using a walker. I could climb some steps. My voice was a little bit stronger. And on July 14th, I was able to come home to my family. It was 90 days. After that, I had to have home health care until October 1st. Boulder Community Health care. I'm going to UC Health Pulmonary Clinic to see my docs, still in Boulder Internal Medicine, and doing pulmonary rehab at BCH. I was a healthy, active person pre-COVID. And I have a long road ahead of me still. And it's too soon to tell, and I think others will probably say the same. It's too soon to tell what the new normal is going to be. My liver sustained some damage. Don't know if that's going to get better or how long it will take. My endurance is greatly weakened. We don't know how long that will take to rebuild. Don't know if I'll get off the oxygen. I hope so. My family and I have PTSD that can be overwhelming. My voice is actually pretty strong today, but this is not really my voice. It's still hoarse and sometimes it goes out altogether. My lungs are mostly clear, but there is fibrotic scarring that is around the edges. And I don't recognize myself. I am very grateful to be alive. I am so grateful to all my healthcare workers, to my family. There are many of us out there. I should say also, my hair fell out, all my hair. It's coming back now, but you know, that was a thing. There are many of us out there like me. And, you know, we don't have statistics yet for that, but this is a serious illness. And, you know, I never said why me, because the answer really is why not me? We just don't know. And for people who think they're immune or they won't get as sick, you just don't know. So it's important to be very careful.
Stay with CBSN Denver for the latest information on the coronavirus pandemic, including every live news conference. We'll be right back.